everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 9-game NBA DFS slate for Friday. I'm just going to keep going here. Sorry, Detroit's lineup has me on tilt. I felt very, very smart about a lot of the things that happened in today's NBA DFS slate. However, Dennis Smith Jr. is starting. Corey Joseph in a revenge spot is starting. What do you even make of that? And also, you had a ton of Chris Boucher. You're my absolute hero.
Yeah, the Boucher is one of a few things that are going for me right now. We'll see who else comes in this massive 3-game late night hammer. So many people are just going to erupt. A lot of people in great eruption spots. So the Detroit lineup is something that you have to late swap onto. How could you not consider a $3,400 Dennis Smith? There is a pathway of him at least playing 24 minutes. So 24 minutes of Dennis Smith is could get you 24 fantasy points. If not, he's going to play 12. It was worth the risk to take some at that salary. I was willing to take a risk on Dennis Smith Jr. tonight.
Yeah, well, I was willing to take a risk on Killian Hayes until that lineup ended up not involving him. I know he didn't start the last couple. He should still be okay. 3,200 on DK. I still got a little bit. On Fanduel, I just basically made all of those investments into Dennis Smith Jr. It felt like the prudent play. Anything else going on for this slate you really want to touch base on?
It was good to see Zach LaVine kind of look like his old self. So that was nice to see. We'll see what ends up coming out in this late night hammer. I'm really excited for this late night hammer. There's Kawhi, there's Dame, there's Donnie Mitchell, there's Paul George, like I said, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. It's a pretty loaded night slate. And then there's Isaiah Stewart and Dennis Smith Jr.
Isaiah Stewart, 98%. I think you have more than me still, which is kind of insane to say out loud. We were talking a little bit pre-show, but yeah, Chris Boucher, we're proud parents over here. I should have had more than I did. I was on the Live Before Lock show, but I still think I think it still went pretty darn well. I feel good about it. We'll see how Isaiah Stewart does. I'm riding or dying with that guy. Somebody else you should ride or die with, us, Monkey Knife Fight. Go on over there. Take a look at all of their goodies that they have going for the Masters right now. I faded Bryson. I'm so glad I didn't play him in any of those props right now. He's 4 over. I'm saying that now, and maybe he's going to win this weekend. Who knows? This is our last show before we know the results of the Masters, which is kind of interesting to think about with 3 days coming up. But head over there. Use promo code Awesemo. If you're a first-time user, make sure you take advantage of that. It's $50 free, $50 match deposit bonus over at monkeyknifefight.com. NHL, NBA, all of the goodies over there. You know it by now, so check it out. Also, get to that bottom bar here if you're watching us on YouTube and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going live. You ready to get started, my dude?
Let's ride.
We are going to ride. Sitting on the top end, we're going to start on Fanduel today because I'm feeling frisky. Russell Westbrook, $11,200 on the top end. He's been really, really good, but now we got Bradley Beal. He's probable for tomorrow again. Played last time out. That didn't matter. It didn't matter to anybody else. They just jammed him in constantly and got there. So that was unfortunate, but $11,200, he's really, really good at basketball when it comes to the fantasy element of it. I don't know about real life. I still think he's pretty good at real life, too. Let's not get too hyperbolic there. Steph Curry, 9,600 against Washington. Have a feeling that's going to be very, very popular. Coming off a game where he really asserted himself. I had a ton swapped onto Drew Holiday. That sucked. I really liked going that direction before the surprise Giannis scratch the last slate that Golden State was on. 9,600 against Washington, not going to go overlooked. And then Drew Holiday. We're talking, speak of the devil, there he is. We're going to have Giannis news. He's going to be questionable probably right now at the minimum. So I don't know if there's any news saying that he's going to be out for Friday here. Up against Charlotte, maybe they don't even need him. But Drew Holiday, 8,500. Big fan if there's no Giannis. Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, top end of point guard, Curry and Russ lead the way over there in DK. Tough not to like them both, but Trae Young in a matchup versus Chicago, $9,200. That's quite a bit of some savings on a 9-game slate. You could do a lot with those $700 and $1,800 over there in DK. Looking over on FanDuel in the point guard spot, obviously we got Russ and Curry again, 11-2, 9-6, and then Trae Young all the way down to $8,100. How can you not love that? Again, a matchup versus Chicago. Chicago's going to be in a back-to-back. Tough not to love that Trae Young price tag on FanDuel. Probably my favorite point guard play at that price right now.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's tough not to
Okay,
like that.
that's true. I mean, I admitted that I was wrong about him the other night. He completely got there and then didn't get the blowout run, as he shouldn't. He's Trae Young. He's the main feature of that basketball team at the moment. But 8,100, yeah, against Chicago, your favorite point guard on the board.
Yeah, on FanDuel especially, definitely tough not to love that Trae Young price tag. Man, that's really cheap for Trae Young. It's been a while since we've seen that. I won't fault you if you have interest in a guy like Ben Simmons in matchup versus New Orleans, but man, he has not been fun for fantasy purposes for a good part of the last 10 games.
I'm going to bite the bullet, and it's not going to feel good. That's a fact.
Yeah, so I'm fine taking my chances on Ben Simmons. I think it's going to come back around for him. But Steph Curry over there in DK and Trae Young also fine spend down options off of Russ.
Yeah, love all of it. Yeah, Ben Simmons, it's terrible. It's gross. It doesn't feel right, but yeah, gonna have to go that direction. Kemba Walker 6,300 up against Minnesota. We've seen some production tail off, but Evan Fournier out. Obviously, you're not getting rid of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, so maybe not there. But 6,300 just kind of looks wrong for Kemba Walker. We've seen that price go down, and then it bobs back up. He plays seesaw and being good at basketball and not from the fantasy elements of things, but definitely have some interest going that direction. We saw Cole Anthony play 25 minutes right out of the gate against Washington. If he's going to like trend up in minutes, obviously it's a team that just let go of Kem Birch, waived him. He's going to get picked up. I don't know if he got picked up already. I haven't seen any news on it, but Cole Anthony 4,700, somebody that I'm probably going to have a little interest on in the bottom end, just kind of like looking for guys down there to try to give shots on. And then Patrick Beverly, who played 20 minutes. We'll see if he ends up playing on the back-to-back. He's playing right now as we speak, but he's 3,900, so he's at least somebody to just be relevant on this slate. Edmund Sumner, your boy. Not that he's your actual boy or anything, but he showed up in a lineup that was pretty good once upon a time, so that makes him your boy. 3,900 on the bottom end. Any other punt you're looking at?
Tough. A great call by Cole Anthony. I think on FanDuel, I think that's fine consideration. And other guys who stand out at their price tag, yeah, you might have called out Pat Bev. We'll see what ends up happening over there on the Clippers side of things. If he's out, I'll have interest in Reggie Jackson, but keep in mind with that injury situation, John Morant's going to have a good game at some point, man. He's not this bad. I hope he's not this bad just because like after rookie of the year, he's not been fun for fantasy purposes. I think real life analytics grade pretty well still for him. On DK, I think another Magic guard. I think RJ Hampton's still getting mid-20s minutes as someone who can pay off that price tag as well. Deserves a mention.
Happy Corey Joseph Day. Revenge narrative 14.75 over on DK. You knew it was going to be one of those dudes. It was just, whatever. Top end of shooting guard, 8,700, Paul George over on FanDuel. Let's go over to DK, because that's what I was doing. I was kind of mixing up the order a tiny bit. Bradley Beal, 9,300 over on DraftKings. Much bigger tag than the 8,300 that he is over on FanDuel. I know that. 8,500 for Terry Rozier. Wowzer. Like, that's escalated quickly. Like, apparently DraftKings just doesn't want you to play Terry Rozier for whatever reason, because he's only put up 33.5, 40.75, and 29.5 his last three. Given played 39 and 40 minutes, but like, I don't know, 8,500 feels like a little bit of an overreaction, but that's just my opinion. Drew Holiday, shooting guard eligible, 8,400. I do like that if you're going to get no Giannis. Paul George, 8,200 against Houston. He's playing right now. You never know with the Clippers. They are going to be in that night hammer. We don't have 3 games this time. There are 2 games, though, in that 10 p.m. Window. So letting it be known, you do have some swappability going to Washington Golden State, which I expect to be a very popular game due to the game environment, and Houston Clippers. So looking at you're not going to want to post those early screenshots tomorrow. That's for sure. Talk about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, top end of shooting guard starting over looking at over there on FanDuel. Love Paul George either way. If Kawhi is out, it's ruled out for being dizzy again after lock. So that'd be pretty annoying.
Don't even. I had to be on a show during that too. It's whatever. Continue on.
Yeah, that was rough. But keep in mind with what's happening. He's been balling of late, spending down to a guy like LeVert and DeRozan. I love DeRozan 7,600 a matchup against Denver again. I know it was disappointing last time, but 7,600 with that shot volume, definitely going to have some interest. Beal, $8,300. Now that's That's pretty nice, I think. He played 30 minutes last time. If he's going to get 30 minutes versus this Golden State team, sign me up. He can obliterate that price tag. Hopefully he gets a few more minutes. Zach LaVine, 7,500. Definitely showed a great upside today. We'll see how much recency bias affects his ownership tomorrow, but definitely someone who's in play. Tough to spend down, really tough to spend down after like those salaries, especially over there on FanDuel. D'Angelo Russell is playing 24 minutes a pop. Let's see what that minutes limit looks like. He's got to have to play at least 30 minutes for me to consider that price tag. But keep in mind, he is still only priced at 6,300. He's one of those guys who can get hot from the outside and pay it off even in 24 minutes. Looking over there on DraftKings, man, Chris Middleton, can you just turn it up for me once? Like, come on. Like, this has been really disappointing without Giannis the last couple games out.
I've got the game on right here, and he is terrible at basketball. I just want to point that out to everybody. That's the nice thing. You guys don't know what's going on here. There's an iPad sitting here. I can kind of rotate between notes. I can rotate between games. Thought I'd take a look and see how our friend Chris Middleton's doing. Answer, terribly. Continue.
He's been very disappointing, so that's unfortunate. But other guys in that price range, Paul George, $8,200. Keep in mind with that injury situation, a Clipper back-to-back, and Bradley Beal's still in play at $9,300. Someone who we can still consider in a matchup versus Golden State. LeVert, $7,600. Let's see what the injury situation is like in Indiana. It was disappointing last time, but I think it's okay to go back to him. Bogdanovich has earned a 7K price tag, and he's been paying it off consistently. Do we still ride him against Chicago? Sure. But if that ownership...
I thought you were asking me a question. You were asking yourself a question. I'm here if you want to ask me a question. It's fine. Honestly, you're the GOAT, so I'm following in your footsteps. Continue.
But now, how do you feel about Bogdanovich, though, at that 7K price tag in DK?
How nice of you to ask me. What a peachy question. Yeah, I like Bogdanovich even at 7K. It's a different dude. And okay, 7K, I would hope, would depress his ownership. If he's going to be popular, like if he's going to be 20, he was like 18 or 20% on DK at 6,500. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar for 7K. Maybe I'd look at being light there, but against Chicago, I mean, I might have to have a little bit for sure. I mean, he's got the upside. You take John Collins off the floor, it sounds like what's his face? Is Clint Capella going to be playing or not? Do we even know yet? He's questionable. It sounds like he's still questionable. All right, so yeah, I'm looking just from a usage perspective. There's a lot of it to be had, and Bogdanovich is taking it over, and you're probably not going to get Danilo either tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm definitely willing to take advantage of that price tag while we can. Other guys at the shooting guard spot, spending down, really tough again. No one really stands out to me at their price tag to spend down. I know it. I absolutely like nobody below 4K. Maybe Monty Morris. With the Jamal Murray situation, him and Facundo Campazzo are just splitting it down the middle, so it makes it tough. So if Jamal Murray is out, have interest in one of them makes sense. Kind of pick your poison on who's going to be good.
Yep. Looking at the top end of small forward, you ready to move on? Do you have anybody else? I guess, I mean, I was just looking at shooting guard, and I think it's pretty straightforward for the most part. I mean, Memphis, we just saw Grayson Allen go completely nuts. Are you interested in anything with that? With Melton continuing to be out, I believe we're also going to get who was the other guy that was out for them? Justice Winslow is going to continue to be out. Brandon Clark is probably going to continue to be out. He's going to be questionable. It says doubtful. Okay, so that's way better. Any interest in going back to Grayson Allen?
No, not really.
Okay, that was quick.
Completely
that was fun.
Off of him, yeah.
Okay, well, moving on then. That was enjoyable. So don't play the tripper. I don't know what else to call him. He's just the guy who trips people. All right, Kawhi Leonard, $10,000 up top at small forward. Jaylen Brown, $8,300. This is Fanduel that we're back on again. Hope you were able to figure that out. As you're following at home, Jaylen Brown just went nuts. He was fantastic last time out. It was probably the first time I've ever been on Jaylen Brown in a meaningful way, and part of it was you just kind of needed to punt small forward by default. on the last slate, and paying up for the other guys just didn't make a lot of sense. Like, I wasn't going to play KD not in the starting lineup. So Jaylen Brown now up to 8,300, but against Minnesota still have interest there. Brandon Ingram is questionable for the 94th slate in a row. And then our good friend Chris Middleton. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good to see you. That's sarcasm. Talk to me about the top end of small forward.
We'll see what Middleton ends the night with, but man, come on, man. Let's get going. Looking at the top end of small forward, 9-game slate, I've been consistently over the field on Kawhi Leonard. I think over the field on him today. He came in sub 10% owned. Now a matchup versus Houston. If he were to play, I'll have interest in him once again. Jaylen Brown versus Minnesota. Love the matchup versus Minnesota. Definitely someone who we can definitely target. DeRozan, 8K over there. Him and Brown are going to be a close decision point. I think I'm going to go with Brown because of the matchup. And I feel like for some reason has a higher upside than DeRozan, or very similar upsides in each other, both coming in at small forward. Brown has shooting guard small forward eligibility, so he'll be a little bit higher owned than DeRozan. Simmons at some point is going to turn around, and a matchup versus New Orleans could be a get right spot for him. I'll be trying to get over the field on him. Other guys to keep in mind, my boy Michael Porter Jr. Has been very, very good of late, shooting very efficiently, getting per 4 rebounds, being more defensively aware. It's been very fun to see Michael Porter
defensively competent is the correct way of saying it.
Yeah, he's playing good enough defense to stay on the court. And his offense obviously is a pure lethal, one of the better young offensive players in the game. I really big Michael Porter stan. So I'm someone who's always trying to be above the field on Michael Porter. That's a personal fan bias in me when I try to roster him. Kelly Oubre Jr. Playing one of his former teams, $6,300. So there's a lot of interesting talk with Kelly Oubre Jr. Obviously, Andrew Bogut recently came out with the news that he was in a trade talk of him getting traded straight for Lonzo Ball, and the Warriors said no. And Kelly Oubre got word that Steve Kerr said if Oubre were to return next year, he would be coming off the bench as they want Klay to start. Yeah, I'd probably want to start Klay Thompson over Oubre Jr., but Oubre Jr. is playing with a chip on his shoulder. I'd probably trying to play for a payday now because he wants to be a starter. So we'll see what ends up happening in that situation. Will Barton is someone who's been pretty good with no Jamal Murray, as he's been finding a way to get some extra ball handling duty. If this game stays close, he can pay off that price tag over there on DraftKings. Looking at Fanduel, where we have to roster 2 small forwards, paying up for Jaylen Brown and Kawhi Leonard. Jaylen Brown, significant savings, $1,700 off of him. I will be going back to Chris Middleton yet again if Giannis is out. And now, obviously, if Giannis were to be in, watch him just explode for 50 points, just to burn us all, just because that's how it's going to all work out. But 8K, the same price as Brandon Ingram. It's going to be tough to go to Ingram in this situation because of the injury situation he's been dealt with. He hasn't played in some time, so it's a foot injury. I doubt he comes back, but we've seen Stan Van Gundy, when these Pelicans players come back, they're full hit the gas and get the ball rolling. So and that's how things stand, really, honestly, on FanDuel. Kelly Oubre Jr. and Porter Jr., Kevin Porter, Michael Jr., both Porter Jr.'s are in play on FanDuel at their price tag. So
the number of Porter Jr. jokes in YouTube chat has gotten a little, it's like, oh, play the Porter Jr. Oh, which one? Love it. I'm a big fan. Let me know in the bottom bar which Porter Jr. you prefer for tomorrow. Considering I don't know, John Wall, I'm assuming, is going to be out. Yeah, he's definitely out. So let me know. Kevin Porter Jr. or Michael Porter Jr. straight up. I'm going the Kevin Porter Jr. side. I know what side you're taking. Am I correct?
Yeah, give me Michael Porter.
Yeah, you're a sicko. You're blinded by your love. I get it. Looking down at the bottom end here, you could take shots on Justin Holiday again. That's fine. My boy Rui Hachimura, welcome back after a little 3-game hiatus, taking a nap. He was enjoying 2-game absence. Excuse me, not that long. He was just hurt. Rui Hachimura 5,800 against Golden State. That whole game is just awesome. Like Kelly Oubre, Rui, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. You can just play all the dudes who don't play center for either of those teams. I'm pretty much going to have interest in. Anybody else you want to touch base with before we move on?
No, I think you hit on all the spots. Obviously, news will open that small forward position up where we're trying to find some value. It's tough right now, but I think news should open things up for us. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Do we still have the Dustin promo going on?
We do.
Oh my goodness. So we have the Masters going right now. There are a lot of showdowns coming up. There are some showdowns coming down the pipeline. Probably the best showdown a couple days of the entire year. I just fire off bankroll after bankroll, just trying to chase some of these 50K top prizes, 100 and 250K top prizes they're talking about for Sunday for the showdown there. It's insane for the Masters. Yeah, look at Rimpag. He's like, oh crap, I'm going to have to watch a lot of golf on Sunday. Not that you weren't going to watch golf anyway, but use the Dustin promo to get all of the goodies behind the paywall here at Awesemo.com. All of our golf content. You buy 1 month, get 1 month free with promo code Dustin, Dustin Johnson. Don't put in Johnson, just Dustin. Put that in, gets you 1 month free. It's the best product that you will find around the entire industry. Projections, we have this incredible tool that Alex Baker is starting to put together. It's in beta right now, but it's basically him ranking because the World Golf Rankings, anybody who pays attention to golf knows how garbage they are. This is the way to truly know who the top players in the field are going to be. Basically a weighted model that is better than Vegas, because people in Vegas bet their favorite people. They bet names. They don't always bet who's the best value, and the odds just simply fluctuate accordingly. So definitely be on the lookout for that, but you get 2 months of it for the price of one. Check it out, promo code Dustin at Awesemo. Stop guessing, start winning. Top end, a power forward on the top end. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11,200 against Charlotte. Julius Randle, 9,600 against Memphis. Zion Williamson, 9,500 against Philly. All of those dudes, very, very expensive. Obviously, Giannis, we don't know about. You know what? Let's put Domantas Sabonis in the bucket. So Giannis is kind of on his lone little island. Randle, Williamson, Sabonis. If all three play, do you have a lean on which one you want in those matchups?
In those particular matchups, let's see.
I mean, I love Zion even against Philly, but I am a sicko. Julius Randle probably has the best matchup against Memphis. You'll probably get some combination of Xavier Tillman and Jonas Valanciunas. Like, that seems fun. And then Domantas Sabonis, 9K, just seems a little bit lower. It's just kind of an interesting spot. I mean, you're probably going to want to go Jason Tatum, 8,800 just for 200 less, right, against Minnesota?
Yeah, I'm gonna love that Tatum spot. I know we haven't seen consistent Tatum all year long. He's been very disappointing the last 4 games, but there's a serious upside versus Minnesota. It's got to be Tatum for me if you really put him in the option there. Christian Wood could sneakily get there for you at $7,800. He's not terrible, and Zion Williamson is slowly becoming matchup proof. We'll see how Joel Embiid is going to handle Zion. I do think there'll be a few post-ups here and there. A little fun back and forth action between Zion and Joel Embiid. Over there on DraftKings, spending up for Jason Tatum makes a lot of sense again. Randall, surely in play. Zion 9K, definitely one of my favorite options to consider. Him and Tatum will be a big decision point for me. I'm not sure how that's going to end up. And Draymond Green has the upside to be the highest scoring power forward on this slate, and just because of the matchup versus Washington. So keep that in mind. In terms of value options on both sides, there's this guy, another McDaniels guy, not Jaden McDaniels, but Jalen McDaniels of Charlotte. Played how many minutes he played? 32 minutes.
32.
He went 9 of 14 from the field. I don't know how that efficiency holds up against a matchup versus Milwaukee, but man, he's going to be pretty popular after last time out. To have some interest to be with the field is fine. I'll be hesitant to get over the field. Now, for some reason, if he starts, I'll feel more confident, especially on the DraftKings price. It makes a lot of sense. He's not out of play over there on Fanduel, where he comes in at $4,300. Man, you can make a McDaniels lineup, a Porter Jr. and a Porter Jr. lineup on FanDuel tomorrow. Just like have the name twins across the board. That's pretty fun. And it's kind of viable.
You could go get McDonald's, come home and watch the McDaniels, and you can win all the monies, and also have some delicious 12-piece chicken McNuggets for the low price of like
$8.99. You want to hear this?
Go ahead.
You want to hear this? You can go Murray and Murray at the point guard spot on FanDuel if Jamal Murray and DeJounte Murray go. Mm-hmm. And then in the shooting guard spot, can you make anything happen?
Is there another Allen? Is there another Williams? It's got to be Lou Williams and somebody. That feels like the chalk. Would it be Williams? Oh man, this is honestly worth it. You could go Williams and Williams if you want to say like Zion Williamson or Robert Williams or Carter Williams. Oh, you could go Lou Williams, Patrick Williams. So DK, make that your shooting guard and your small forward.
Oh, I was talking FanDuel.
I know. I was trying to think if you could like group it by position, but you're gonna have to jump positions.
Yeah, FanDuel, the shooting guard position, you cannot pull anything off. But while on, you can go Murray and Murray, and then skip the small forward shooting guard position. Go Porter Jr., McDaniels. There you have it.
Who's going to be center then? Just Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know.
Just pay up for the best center on the slate.
Oh, there you go. You ready to move on and talk about him?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, let's do it. Top end. We're going to start on FanDuel here. Karl Anthony Towns, 11,100. He's very good. Clint Capella, 10,400. He's questionable. He's somehow $10,400. Good Lord of all that is good and righteous. Joel Embiid is 10,200. I do like that against New Orleans. If we see 28 minutes, then 32 minutes, can I get 34, 35 minutes? That would be fun. Makes for a good tournament pivot off of Cat. So if Cat only plays, 35 minutes or so, which is kind of what he's been running at, him and MB could be about the same number. I think New Orleans is a better spot or about the exact same spot as Boston. So, and then Jokic, 10,100. Good Lord. Center, you better get it right. Talk to me about the top end.
Top end of center. Center's loaded, 9-game slate. Jokic, Embiid, and Cat lead the way. Tough for me to pay a 10-4 Capella price tag just because of seeing those names there. But if Capella were to play, you could pay out that price tag. There's no John Collins, and he's been a monster in many of those games without John Collins. Keep that in mind. But tough to get away from those top tier. Hopefully there's enough value where you can get those guys in comfortably. One fault you to go down to a guy like Vooch. Was disappointing today against against Toronto, but now a matchup against Chicago. A matchup against Atlanta. Someone we can go to. Wendell Carter Jr. Started off that game hot last time, then he cooled down significantly. I need to see what the rotation looked like after that. So really disappointed to see that. I'd shy away from Kelly Olynyk. He played 34 minutes, though. That's the only thing that I'm excited for. But 6K Kelly Olynyk, kind of expensive for my liking. Keep in mind, no Kem Birch anymore. Mo Bamba played 25 minutes. So maybe it's a minute split down the middle. Maybe they're trying to see who their center of the future is. Bamba at 4-4. If he's going to get the same number of minutes as Wendell Carter Jr., I'd prefer saving those $2,400. And if Ibaka is still ruled out, Zubac is down to $4,600. I know DeMarcus Cousins is now in the picture, which doesn't help Zubac's case. And Rondo and him have had some chemistry together. They've been on two teams together now. Maybe they want their boy Cousins to get going over Zubac, who's probably the better player at this point. But keep that in mind why Zubac might not be as great of a play as he has been of late. Wiseman, I think we can go to, even if he's going to play 25 minutes against Washington. Really nice spot for him to show out. Over there on DraftKings, spending up for Cat, Jokic, Embiid. I mean, I'm going to try to make sure I get at least one of those guys. And then you have to deal with Giannis, who has center eligibility as well. If he were to play, makes for a great spend-up option. He'll be low-owned, in my opinion. I believe they're just resting him. I don't think this knee injury is anything serious, in my opinion. Hopefully not. But keep in mind, let's see what Budenholzer has to say with that situation. Other guys to spend down for, especially tomorrow. Paying up for Christian Wood is fine. If there's no Miles Turner yet again, it's go good time, $3,800. Tough not to think that he's one of our best value plays on the slate.
Yeah, it's way, way, way too cheap. Don't forget, though, 3,400, Jakar Sampson. I had so many Goga Sampson lineups because I know that they're probably going to be splitting center minutes, but there is a possibility they can play on the floor together, and they were 3K last slate. Now they're a little bit more expensive, but 3,400, 3,800, I think the same kind of rules apply depending on what other value you get. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big enough slate where there is some opportunity cost is pretty high, and Goga could have a disappointing game. But small sample size off of one game, he was exceptional. So I think going back to him, even at that price tag, makes a lot of sense. I mean, tough not to like him just because there's no Turner and he's going to have to play, man.
And not in the winning lineup. It's so insane. Anywho, any final words for the people for this entire week of the Slate starter?
Yeah, tomorrow is the last day for the MLB Starting 9 promotion. If you missed out on that, tomorrow is the last day. go to awesemo.com/promos. Don't miss out on that. You'll never get a promo like that this MLB season. So definitely take advantage of that while you can. That's about it. Good luck. Tons of news will break on a Friday slate where there's a lot of teams on a back-to-back. So be ready for that. Watch all our programming and enjoy the Masters weekend. He's
Rayen. I'm Eric. We will see you guys next week. That was terrible. I tried. I didn't know because the camera flips it. It doesn't. That's Rayen. I'm Eric. This has been a blast per usual. We will see you guys back here on Monday. Good luck.